Alright. What's good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. So, just yesterday, we finally got our first real taste of gameplay for Bleach Rebirth of Souls. We got the first gameplay trailer at, what was that? That was AX just a couple of weeks ago, so we've been kind of like real antsy, just waiting to see some more gameplay for this game, because you already know how it goes with arena fighters and, you know, anime games in this day and age. It is very, very hit or miss unless you're Dragon Ball or Naruto, and even then it could still be very hit or miss. But for Bleach, this is a I've mentioned this in both of my recent videos regarding this game, that Bleach is a very, very important series to me, and I really want to see this series succeed, and I really want to see this game do well, because we could really finally get more Bleach video games, something that Bleach has been deserving of forever. The manga's been over for ages now. We're finally just getting the anime's like final arc animated and probably changed up from the ending, so we actually don't know what's gonna change, was how things are gonna end or anything like that. But I'm totally fine with that. I want to see this series go for as long as possible. I love the series, I love the concepts, everything about it, right? So now we have Bleach Rebirth of Souls. We have about 3 minutes of gameplay that they showed us just the other day. I'm a little late on this because I just didn't have the time to, you know, really sit down with this. But instead of, you know, just reacting to it, we're gonna break things down. I also have a couple of, like, you know, things from Twitter, like articles and stuff like that, that we could really look into to see if it could help explain what's going on here. But for now, let's just bare bones it and just take a look at the gameplay in of itself, right? I'm going to keep the volume low because we're probably going to put music over it anyway, and I'm going to be talking out of my ass like I always am, right? So,
do you want to win?
Goodness me. What a perfect, like, what a perfect fight to showcase to showcase this gameplay, right? Because Ichigo versus Byakuya is one of the, like, that is where, like, if you weren't locked into Bleach by that point, that's where you would be like, oh, that's what this is like, okay. Which is a lot of episodes, by the way, but either way, you get what I'm getting at. But I'm very glad Johnny Young Bosch, it sounds like OG Byakuya. But either way, yeah, so you're cutting down opponents with Reishi. Or cutting down your opponent's Reishi, excuse me. You could see there, hold on, I'm gonna do a little bit of pausing and stuff like that, because this is a breakdown video. We've already all of us have already seen this, right? But essentially, you could see, like, where is it? Let me see if I could catch it. Whoops! Whoopsie! Hold on. Oh my god, I completely lost it. This video is way too short. But you could see there's a moment where they can choose one of the specials that they want to use to deal a little bit more damage. You see All Out Slash and Wielding. What is going on there? I don't know if these are attacks that you could choose or if these are like just actions that you could take. I'm not really sure. I'm assuming All Out Slash sounds like an attack, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and assume that is.
Cutting down 1 gauge of Reishi decreases your opponent's Kompaku.
Yeah, but essentially, yeah, breaking your opponent's Kompaku. You're okay. That's crazy. If you're not into Bleach or anything like that, or just this kind of thing in general, they are just spewing words at you, which is so incredibly funny to me. Yeah, but either way, first off, let me just say, animations are stellar, right? Because the first, like, GIF that we saw of gameplay for this, a lot of people were complaining that it seemed a little bit on the slower side, and I couldn't help but be inclined to agree a little bit, but I'm like, I'm gonna wait until they actually show us gameplay, because they may have slowed it down. It's kind of hard to see what was going on, and I'm really glad to see that the gameplay in of itself actually isn't slow at all. Like, animations wise, it looks beautiful. It's one of those things where you could tell, like, it looks like it feels good to play, right? And that's amazing, especially because, like I said, these are the developers of not only Melty Blood. They assisted in, you know, the development of Melty Blood, which is a very, very, like, underrated but very, like, good feeling, like, and looking fighting game. But also in Captain Tsubasa, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a, how do I put it? Dramatic anime soccer. That's the best way I could put this. I'll probably put some gameplay up on the screen for you guys, but essentially that game was just so flashy, but it felt so good and it looked so raw. It was just like, just technically just well put together. underrated little game. Like, that game was actually phenomenally built. It was just utilized, it just unfortunately utilized an IP that nobody was looking at this day and age. You know what I mean? That game came out, like, that had to be 2020. Nobody was looking at that game like that. And that's unfortunate because that game was really well put together. But it is what it is. But for the most part, you could tell right, like, from the get-go that these developers know what they're doing in terms of animation, in terms of combat, in terms of, like, making the game just feel good and feel accurate to these characters, how these characters would move, how these characters would feel, and things like that. So I really, 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 really appreciate that, right? So I'm just going to keep the volume down at this point because I'm trying to talk over him in my headphones. It's confusing, and I'm going to put music in the background anyway. But for the most part, like I said, it just looks great. Both of these characters look so fun to play, right? And you can see there's like dramatic animations and things like that. I'm assuming that's part of the actual gameplay. It's kind of hard to tell whether or not like we're actually going by story or if they just set up like a random battle, because the game just looks that good, right? Love the aesthetic of the backgrounds and everything like that too. It looks really, really pretty. The moves look just phenomenal, right? But essentially, like off rip, what they try to kind of explain to you is that these fights are gonna be very heavily like based on kind of like a stock system almost, right? Those little white bars that you see in the top corners here, those are that's your fighting spirit gauge. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is the fighting spirit gauge. I don't know what this is then, but this white bar right here under these numbers, this is what you're going to be trying to lower every round. Like this is what you're trying, this is basically, you're taking down the stamina bar so that you can get to the health bar, which I'm trying to think of examples that do that, because Smash doesn't really do that. They have a stock system, but you know, you just have to get your opponent out of the ring, as opposed to like in this situation where you kind of have to, how do I put this? Well, essentially, think about like fighting a boss in like an action RPG, and you want to get to their main health bar, but first you got to take down their shields. You got to take down like the little blue bar, essentially, that like stuns them, and then you can start wailing on them with your actual attacks. This is what that bar serves as. That's your like defense. And then if they can hit you, if they hit you hard enough, depending on what they hit you with, they could take down a couple of bars, maybe one, maybe two. It depends on the situation. But that's actually a very, very interesting concept. I feel like they definitely, I hope they have an option where you can lower that. Like for competitive or like ranked, that's fine. 9 is fine. But like for a casual battle, that's a long ass fight. Like if people are properly playing and defending and dodging like accurately to what they're supposed to be doing, these battles could last super long. Like probably like 10-20 minutes each. You know what I'm saying? And I guess like for a fighting game, that's not too out of there. But like, I don't know. It just seems a little excessive for the amount of time that you're going to be spending in each battle, you know? But you can see there, Ichigo's evolution bar was flashing. Obviously, he does not use it now, because that's most likely when he uses Bankai. But like, yeah, you could definitely tell like you're going to be fighting a lot. You're going to be building up these meters. You're going to be utilizing a lot of these different meters to either defend yourself, because there is an actual like block meter. You can see that, right? He knocked it down from 2 to 6. Maybe I'm not tripping. Hold on. Yeah, he knocked it from 6 to 2. Yeah, okay. So maybe these battles aren't going to last as long as I think. So if you hit him with something crazy, never mind. So, alright, maybe I'm tripping. These battles aren't going to last as long as I thought. However, I appreciate such a unique system, you know? And, like, they make it, apparently, like, this is a very common thing. Like, they made it seem a lot more, just a lot more than it actually was, you know? And this is the combo. Like, I'm going to be using that combo a lot. But, god damn, this game looks like it feels so freaking good, man. Jesus Christ. And yeah, he did the exact same thing to Byakuya. Yeah, no, this game is super pretty. This looks like it's probably the story mode right here, and I really hope that a lot of the cutscenes and everything looks like this. Because I can't do a visual novel story mode again. I can't keep doing that. But yeah, no. Yet again, they don't have any kind of release date for it, which is very, very frustrating, but you know what it is. It is what it is at this point, right? So let me make sure something. Okay, cool. So I actually have somebody that, like, they break it down essentially, like, how this kind of works, right? So, let's take a glance here, right? So, Bleach Rebirth of Souls gameplay breakdown. Get ready to feel free. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, this person is just essentially, like, just breaking down the general idea, right? Like, the key features is the combat system. It's a 1v1 with no assist, so you're not going to have, like, partners showing up and things like that, which is very accurate to the anime anyway. Usually, it's very rare for a 2v1 to happen, especially in, like, shonen. Most shonen, except for Jutsu Kaisen, do we have like 2v1s or 3v1s or whatever, unless it very much calls for the situation, and usually it's in the enemy's favor. But 9 times out of 10, yeah, it's usually like a very like intense 1v1, so that's very accurate. I was never expecting assists or anything like that. I was not expecting like Renji to hop in and do his thing or anything like that. That's totally fine. We don't need him anyway, respectfully. So yeah, only 1 round per match, but with 9 lives and souls. So essentially, I mean, I consider each time that you take a stock or multiple stocks, that's a round, because then you're kind of like resetting for the next part of the fight, right? So I consider those rounds, but in reality, to boil it down simply, yeah, it is really just 1 round. It is still all one fight, one contained fight. So that makes sense, right? Yeah, it has a huge HUD, yada yada yada, so very stylized. Okay. So, yeah, they break it down very, very well here. There's going to be your normal attack combos. You're going to have your special attack combos, which is going to, you know, touch up on your EX gauges and stuff like that, which is that one that you saw in the top right and left corner. That was crazy. Right in the top right and left corner, right under their reishi bars, you can see that little gauge that I talked about earlier. Those are going to be extremely important to every fight. You're going to be utilizing those to use special attacks and stuff like that. So pretty much most things in all of their arsenals are going to be very, very heavily dependent on that gauge. Yeah, reverse action and flash step is what's a little confusing to me. I'm assuming that's a situation that kind of, sorry for that burp, by the way. I assume that's gonna be kind of like our, like in Ultimate Ninja Storm, like how you have that specific bar where if you use a substitution, that bar goes down and stuff like that. I'm assuming it's something like that. I assume that's what that means. A reverse gauge common to everyone. Everybody has that, so I'm assuming that's what that is. Transformations in Ultimate, that's a given. That's something you could do in the midst of battle. Absolutely, that makes sense to me, right? Big combo counter. I don't know what that means. I'll be completely honest. I'm a little confused on that. If somebody wants to help explain that to me, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, sidestepping and dodges, we saw that in battle. You can obviously get the hell out of the way if you don't want to get hit, and if you're careful, you can actually avoid their hit and probably start getting in your counters and your combos and things like that, right? Yeah, obviously, attacking reduces health gauge and blocking consumes your stamina gauge, right? So here, yeah. So the health gauge has 9 souls, and the reishi gauge is your health. So this is the reishi gauge. Yeah, no, he basically breaks it down here. This is very, very interesting. If you guys want to, like, take a look at this for yourselves, you can absolutely do so. Oh, sorry, you guys can see, oh my goodness, you guys can see everything. That's really awkward. Oh, man. Wow, that's super awkward. But yeah, no. So, yeah, this guy breaks it down very, very simply. Obviously, Bankai, this guy did great, right? But then there's one other thing that I wanted to take a look at. So here we have Shonen Games. They talked, apparently, like, the IGN interviewed Katsuaki Suzuki, talking about how, you know, just talking about the game and like how they, like, everything that happened with it, right? So this is the producer of the game, and he wants to try and distinguish it from other arena fighters, which is totally fine. I've never really played with a system like this. Apparently it's a pretty common system in a few other fighting games, not a lot, none of the major ones, but, you know, I appreciate him trying to differentiate it, so it's not just a simple, you have health, I have health, let's see who gets it down first. I appreciate that a lot, right? So he calls it a combat, it's like a pastiche. I've never heard that word. Pastiche, Sekiro stagger swordplay, Tekken 7 reversals, and Smash Bros. Ultimate stock health bar system, wherein players win battles by destroying an opponent's 9 stocks or kompaku. right? There are characters that excel in speed, in power, and in range. So, I mean, typical, because there's a lot of different characters, and all of those characters excel in very different aspects across the board. So, obviously, you know, that kind of just adds up, right? Obviously, if you're playing Kenpachi, you're not really looking for speed, but you are very much like dedicated to your power. So, you know, that's absolutely what I expect from that. And then they played the previous Bleach games before they started development on Rebirth of Souls, which makes sense to me. They wanted to get a feel of how previous Bleach games looked, felt, and played, and things like that. I don't know to what extent they played, but that's very interesting. Let's see if we could get to this article here. I don't like using IGN for anything. I actually hate IGN, but whatever. We'll take a look here. They wanted to make a balanced shonen fighting game. Very interesting. Arguably, the most difficult challenge in making Rebirth of Souls was integrating major tenets of the anime's unique power systems. While Rebirth of Souls naming conventions may prove intimidating to prospective players on first blush, I was gonna say first brush, Suzuki stressed that players won't be required to have an over-familiarity with Bleach's encyclopedic power structure to enjoy the game and take out a victory. Okay, so yeah, because again, like I said in previous videos about this is going to be one of the de facto ways, one of the just primary ways to get your Bleach content without actually needing to know Bleach. You can absolutely start the series of Bleach by picking this game up. So let's take another look here. In contrast to Sparking Zero, whose producer hinted the game would reflect the anime's ensemble power scaling with unbalanced battles, Rebirth of Souls characters were designed to have an equal win rate with another, which means that they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that this game is some kind of balance and things like that. There probably will be characters that are absolutely more powerful than others, but there will be situations, most like 9 times out of 10, where Uryu could absolutely keep up with Kenpachi even at full power, or Ichigo or anything like that. Rukia is easily keeping up with Byakuya, or vice versa, or, you know, Renji could Renji could easily keep up with Grimmjow in that aspect as well. I'm assuming that's, you know, at least generally how far the game is going to get in terms of its story. So, you know, that's really good to know that the characters that we're going to have access to are going to be mostly balanced, so that you can choose your faves and you can just learn that character as much as possible and really utilize them, hopefully in some kind of ranked system for this game. That's going to be really, really cool. So, right here, this is what I'm talking about right here, okay? Historically, Bleach has been noticeably out of the gaming zeitgeist, what, I don't know how to pronounce that, comparison to its fellow big three shonen contemporaries in Naruto and One Piece. As mentioned earlier, it's been 13 years since Bleach characters have graced a video game. That is, if you don't count their appearance in the 2019 Anime Oscars as Arena Fighter Jump Force, which, if y'all, I'm gonna put out a video this week on that, or yeah, I put out a video before this one on that. Jesus. The last fully fledged Bleach game was Bleach Soul Resurrection for the PS3, and it received middling reviews from critics, including their own. Like, they actually were like in the midst of playing all the games to get a feel for Bleach, they were like, ooh, yeah, this game is definitely a thing. Where we said the game had a simple yet enjoyable Dynasty Warriors as combat system that players wouldn't be missing out on if they passed it up, which is really unfortunate because, yeah, Bleach doesn't really make sense for a Dynasty. I mean, it would be cool for like an original story or something like that, but I don't know. I mean, they could easily have like hundreds of hollows in different areas and things like that. That could be very, very interesting or entertaining. But for the most part, I don't know, it didn't work out the way they wanted to. But I don't know, maybe that's something that you got to give like to Koei Tecmo to work on, because that's like their specialty. Yeah, but it just kind of goes to show like they were really comparing, they were really comparing like, you know, just how long it's been. But that's how you could tell that they, you know, they've been really paying attention, because they're like, wow, like, it's been a very long time. We need to make sure that this game is very high quality, and we need to make sure that it feels unique, and it feels like it's on the same playing field as Naruto or even One Piece Odyssey. I mean, I don't know about that. One Piece Odyssey was good, but it wasn't crazy to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing. And so right here, this is probably the last most like important thing, essentially, is that this game, Rebirth of Souls, will only feature characters from the anime's first 2 story arcs, which is the Soul Reaper arc as well as the Arrancar arc. First off, way more arcs than that, but whatever. Regardless, that makes it sound like we're probably not gonna see Aizen? Maybe? I really don't know. I don't know if that counts. And I guess that means we're probably not gonna see, like, you know, the little group of like Shinji's group or anything like that. So that's a little on the unfortunate side because those are some of my favorite characters in the entire series. But I think I can live with that. I think it's good that they started smaller so that they could just build on what they know there, like just build upon the little stuff there and just perfect this system. And once they've perfected like everything that they've got here, then we can move on to like the last main arc of like Bleach, like Prime, I guess, like OG Bleach, and then they can get into 1,000-Year Blood War and stuff like that, and we could see a lot more characters and things like that flourish from that, because we would really, oh my god, I would really, really love to see just like Ichigo at his finest hour, and just him getting his new weapons and things like that, like all of his transformations. We at least get to see his oh no, they do get to that arc. I'm tripping. I'm stupid. But either way, for the most part, that's awesome. That's awesome. This game is definitely going to give us a lot to look forward to, and it's going to be super, 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 super dope. So I'm really looking forward to everything that they have to offer us here, and this game looks absolutely beautiful. It looks like they put in a lot of time, care, love, and effort to make sure that this game is good, playable, and unique, to make it so that if this does, you know, get nice enough and, you know, it's got a consistent player base and things like that, we could see it in a lot of different aspects, and maybe in terms of like competitive, maybe Evo, probably not Evo, but you know how it goes with that kind of thing. But I would just love to see this game get big enough so that we could see more updates, DLC characters, and maybe a sequel and stuff like that, because there's a lot of movie characters that I would like to see involved in this. There's a lot of different aspects of, you know, characters that we've always known, like Rukia, Renji getting their upgrades, obviously Ichigo's, you know. I would love to see the what are those guys at the arc after like the primary, the Soul like Reaper arcs end and stuff like that. I would just love to see all these different characters get their time to shine and things like that. So I really, really do hope that this game really, you know, measures up to everything that they're trying to make it measure up to. I hope that it's not too heavily in competition with Sparking Zero. That's one of my biggest worries, because Sparking Zero is just so freaking massive, and people are just going to be playing that forever for so long that I have a fear that they're going to be kind of putting themselves in competition with that, and that's really an unfair competition, because Dragon Ball has such a massive player base just ready to go at any given time, especially coming hot off the heels of, you know, fighters and just everything, you know. So yeah, they're just kind of lying in wait. Bleach fans, they're here. I'm here. I'm waiting. I'm going to play this game as much as I possibly can. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think it just kind of depends on how consistent they are with, you know, consistent updates and just a lot of things to make sure that this game gets the love, care, and, you know, consistency that it deserves. But we're just going to have to go ahead and play that one by ear. But for now, I think that basically just about wraps up everything that we need to say about this. I'm really excited. I'm really freaking excited, man. Jesus Christ, that is the hardest shot, I swear. But regardless, tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, I think we have talked enough, so I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle on out of here. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm Gonzo. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor, taking good ass care, and I'll be seeing you all next time.